Welcome to the Labyrinth. I am your host, Pratham Padav. If you like this podcast or if you find it useful, please hit the subscribe button. My guest today is Kartika Dubey. She's a certified life coach. She's a dance therapy coach. She lives a very natural and minimalist lifestyle. She lives off grid and she has a very beautiful YouTube channel called Expand Love. So she's here with us to expand her love. Kartika, welcome to the Labyrinth.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful introduction. I'm very happy to have this conversation with you and share my experiences.
So,
Yes.
firstly, tell us your secret. How are you so happy all the time? Because I see you smiling so much.
I think it's love. Like love is the answer that I could give. I went through like really tough time mentally around maybe 4 years before. I've lost track of time because life is too good now. But at that time, I basically realized the power of self-love through Louis Hay. And I did a lot of practices just to be in a safe and loving space for myself and for others. And this, like, it just changed my life completely. Everything changed, after that. And also just realizing that, our thoughts are creating our reality. What we're feeling inside is what is manifesting in the world outside. So just keeping my inner space, loved and loving is the answer for all the happiness, I think.
So, what kind of practices did you commit to be so happy?
Well, number one was affirmations, which I also talk a lot about in my, coachings. So just simple statements that you can use to create a space in your subconscious mind. So for example, if you tell yourself that I truly and deeply love myself, or I'm divinely protected, guided, and provided. So what happens is that as you think a thought like this, you learn how to think it throughout the day. So not only when you're saying your affirmations, you're sending out this energy, but you're also learning to change your thought processes. And as you change your thought processes, your outside changes as well, as I said. This was one of the most, useful things that I did. Other than that, I was meditating, of course, releasing a lot of traumas that I had from my childhood. So like lots of things that we carry and we are not aware of in the subconscious mind, they're there and like they're constantly pushing us down and creating lots of fears. So the opposite of fear is love. So releasing those traumas through tips is what I did. And then of course, lots of breathing exercises. Dancing was like a really important part of it. Like just being in a higher vibration through doing something. And then from that point, you can think better. If your energy is good, like through movement, basically getting into a good energy, using your body to be in higher state, and then after that you can manage your mind. If things are happening, I had like lots of patterns that were just like going on, and if if I could be in a good space through my energy, I could heal my mind also through it, and change my patterns really easily.
Right. And you just said
So
that.
yeah, these are the go ahead.
You just said that earlier you were not in a very pleasant space. You went through some trauma, and now you are in a much better space. When did this transformation happen, and how did you go through this transformation?
So actually, I was always a very spiritual person. Like spirituality was like even when I was a child, I was always curious about like nature of life and what is happening, who is God, how are we created, what is happening, So and I was like interested in moral science class. So boring,
I think you're the only person to say that you're interested in moral science class.
I know. I used to go to these satsangs with my grandma and used to enjoy this so much.
You're the first person to say something like that,
I know, as a child, So yes, so I had lots of interest in spirituality, and that also like just uneasiness inside working in corporate. I started traveling. And I had friends who were so supportive, like, just they're like, yeah, go travel. So then I was traveling for 1.5 years in India. And then I was like, why am I living in Delhi with all of this pollution and everything? So then I moved to Goa with my friends only. And then when I was living in Goa, my house was open to like any travelers, and they were just coming in and going. And at that time, like, I kind of like was not doing anything. And I think I didn't have much purpose in life. Like, I had money, I had like very good friends, I had dogs and cats, and my house was amazing, there was a forest behind, but just like inside was not really good. So I was just like really like just like thinking about all my fears, and like just going down and down and not realizing what to do. So then as I said, I came across like, Louis Hay, and then I started traveling again. And like traveling was the only thing that used to make me happy. And I knew no one else could like help me out as well. I knew it. So then I started practicing everything that was there in the book, because I needed help, and nothing outside was able to help me. And at that time I promised myself that no matter what, I'm going to like be in my highest state, and be, like, create my highest life. And one of the major motivators was also to be an example of a good life, and like, because I lost all purpose in life, what to do, it's like everything you have. So like this was like, okay, I can give something, to the world. And I was like, a good life, how to live a good life as a human, it's like we don't know. And it's possible, like something inside me told me. At that time it just seemed so impossible, but like something inside me was like, it, and it's possible to live a good life, like a really good life. And then I just kept the practices. Love, as I said, was the most important factor. Like the love, like energy of love is gives you everything, and that's what we're longing for. Like when we are connected with our inner self, with our, like, outside, with friends and family or nature, if we are feeling connected, we are feeling one with everything, or not just one with everything, with something you are connected, then you're good. Otherwise, as soon as you feel disconnected and isolated, life is problematic. So I just kept following all these things. And just universe, man, it just teaches you, it gives you everything. It's like amazing, man. It's like you change your reality once you level up, just through love. There's no magic. I mean, everything is magic. 1 second. Yes. So yeah, like everything becomes magic, actually. It's like yeah, love is everything. I can keep saying it again and again. If we can follow the path, let it be our guide, everything is taken care of, man. Life is beautiful.
And you are an example for living a good life. You really are.
Oh.
And when did you begin your journey into off-grid living and natural living?
So again, I was very, very blessed. I was living in Vietnam before Corona started. So I left Vietnam in December, right? No, January 2009, 2020. And basically, I am a part of this community called Gaia. It's by my, like, the founders of the community are Eustace and Vishnu, who are like my best friends. And I could say, like, I'm also, like, one of the most integral member of the community, like basically allowing you to, like reach as many people for good things to happen. And so they had started their base in Palani Hills. And when I was living in Vietnam, I visited, my friend Vishnu asked me to visit, like, just to see what he's doing in my summer break. So I came and stayed with them for a month. And it was incredible, man. We just had a mud house, and it was like completely away from the society. I had to walk like 10 minutes to reach there. The view was amazing, the place was amazing. And it was like, I was like, wow. And yeah, and you don't need anything in life. So I had basically gone to Vietnam to travel and work and to save. And then when, like, I came here and I saw everything, and then my friend, they were just starting with the community at that time. And Vishnu, he's like one of my very, very, like, one of the closest people to me. He told me that I could come and start living there with them. So in January 2000, actually February, January I was in Bangalore, and February 2020, very much in the beginning, I just moved here to move to this place which would belong to the community. And then after that, now I have my land, I have my stuff, everything sorted out, like yes, like in 1.5 years, no, yes, more than 1.5 years. So yeah, I started living. Then only I started, and everything had begun then. And then I went through lots of transitions, changes, struggles, and amazing moments. Most of it was like 99.9 was like blissful. 1% struggle is there in everything. So that happened. Yes.
So how do you live there? Do you grow your own food?
Yes. So I haven't been able to grow, to start eating everything by like whatever I'm growing. There, of course, we are harvesting a lot of things, and we what the aim is to have food forest, and to be completely self-sustainable. So to be able to get everything from the land. So not just food, but also one second. Also water from the land. And then even the power, we are already off the grid, so we have a 3 kilowatt system right now. And what else? Nothing else you need, no? Just like house. House. Yes.
What kind of a diet do you follow? Because I know you don't eat processed food, you only eat natural food, right?
Yes, I'm only eating raw food. I don't eat any salt, no sugar, nothing, no spices. So I eat fruits, I eat veggies, I eat nuts and seeds. That's it.
Is it hard to live like that?
No, it's the most easiest thing to do, I don't have to cook. I just go and take the food and eat. It's like I never liked cooking, and I was just thinking about it yesterday. Sometimes you're like, because my friend, he's been like, really guiding me into the path. Like he's been eating raw food for a long time, and sometimes I'm like, like just arguing, so why am I doing this? Just out of nowhere, and then I'm like, man, if I had to like just put in a little bit of effort for making my food, I'm like, I've not done it much in my life. So it's the easiest thing for me. Even when I was traveling in Europe, it was so easy and cheap. I could just go to the supermarket, like, buy your fruits and you're done. Like, that's it. You eat. So cravings come, but like it's easy if you do a juice fast. I did a juice fast for 60 days, and like after that your microbiome changes, and like what you crave is also like what you're made of. So like 60 days, if I'm made of fruits and greens and everything, so like it just becomes easier. I do like sometimes, like when I just like to smell, cooked food because it reminds me of like mom and like my old things. But now if I have to eat, I don't have like such a strong, desire to eat. I don't think I would eat it also. I'm now starting to see all these things not as food as well, because like we're meant to really, we're frugivorous, and we're meant to eat like natural food, instead of like, you would never like process the rice. If you were living in a natural environment, it would be so difficult. So and all the spices that we put, oil that we put, there's so much difference in the way I feel, how healthy I feel, how my body is like, I'm like really relaxed about my health, because I just feel so good. So all of these factors, and the things that I can also do, it's like so much more than before. So like just my actions are more, I'm more calmer, my mood is like so much better because of changing my food. So all these things really inspire me, and I don't feel like going to like normal food that I don't really think is food, especially like the things that we get in packets. It's like chips and all. Like, is it food really? I don't know. I don't know. We're like harming our bodies so much, not thinking. Like humans don't think so much, I think, now these days.
I think many of us have a I think many of us have a discipline problem. Even I can't think how difficult it would be for someone like me, but I think you are like an inspiration for many of us. But do you ever feel
Yes.
like Do you ever get concerned? What if I feel sick? What if I fall sick in a place like this?
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, it's like I did think about all these things before like moving, because of course you want to be safe and stuff. I think that as I said, I living in fear is something that I don't want to do. I just get one life, and I've seen so much in terms like of, if you just have enough faith, things is falling in place. Uh, Even if you're in a city, first of all, I don't like being dependent to hospitals. It's like something that I don't believe in much at all. It has its own purpose to serve. If like someone has a broken arm or something, blessings to everyone. No. But then it has its own purpose to serve. But I really love to be dependent on my inner self, for my health. Like I have confidence that through my mind and through my just like the actions that I do, I'm gonna stay in good health. I don't believe that taking like drugs from outside, which are from the hospitals, is going to benefit my health in any way. So since I believe in holistic health, uh plus like I think having a community like around you is so good. It just keeps you in good health, and it just keeps you like chilled out as well. It's like about things. And because we're creating our reality, I also create that that I'm gonna be always in good health, and like my surroundings are enough for me to help me stay vibrant and safe and everything. Hospitals are not very pro hospitals.
Speaking of hospitals, this is one question that I ask a lot of my guests, especially from this community, from an open-minded people. What do you think about the paranoia that has come in the past 1 year thanks to this pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's a you have spoken with Johan, his point of view. I agree like with most of the things that he says. I think it's a new world order that's being created, and it's to get control over the population. There's a lot of depopulation agenda that is there, to just reduce the population and get there are people in power who are trying to get all the resources to take all the land. Like people have plans to take the land later, and then just in terms of there's a lot of wealth transfer that is happening. And I've read up like there's nothing that proves that masks are good for us, that lockdowns are going to help like decrease the disease. I don't know if there's something that is making people sick, but I know that the contagion like is doesn't exist. It's never been proven. And don't know how like all the people are falling sick, but most of it is psychological. Like if you put all these, every time you're calling like oh coronavirus, and like you go to outside. In the beginning I would go outside, I'm in such a good space, and oh, use sanitizer. First of all, I don't want to put this in my hand, and for you're creating an environment of fear for people. And as I said, we're creating our realities. We're spiritual beings, and like whatever is going on is coming back to us all the time. If you're thinking of something, you will fall sick. And already with all the like lifestyle that we're living in, especially that I realize it now that I'm living in nature so much, is that everything is creating stress in the body. Everything, like sitting so much on the laptop, we don't exercise, the air is not fresh. Then they're like, people are like already like, yeah, people are already like mentally not feeling good. We're not like everything around us, like taking so many drugs. Antibiotics are just like given like candies, preventive measures. It's like it's to be used when you're dying. And then you take antibiotic for prevention. So like the people already going through so much mental struggle, and then you put in one more thing, that in the air there's something that's going to kill you. And like when there is no government news coming out, everything is okay. Everything, everyone is going, hugging, like there's no 6 feet. As soon as the propaganda starts, everyone is scared. And then people, they themselves are acting as their army, like they just
they
yeah,
get
like
really scared. Sorry, but even
yeah.
with what's happening in the US, around 6 lakh people died of COVID, but the average person who died had around 4 comorbidities like obesity, diabetes, and it's like talk about that also, no? Like, why
Yeah.
isn't anyone talking about that? I think our diet, we eat so much crap, we eat so much garbage, we sit inside, and because of lockdowns, we don't go outside at all, and no one seems to be talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's man, it's so much propaganda, and people need to start thinking. Like, I completely understand the normal public, what they're going through. It's like they're nice people, they trust the information that comes to them. But people need to start thinking, about themselves, about their family, about their tribes, about their community. We have especially the people who know, we have the responsibility to spread the information and take care of each other. So uh, yeah, that, I mean, and also, as I said, it's like, if we stay in the house, like, social connections are so important for us, and we're disconnected. It's like, rather like be a free being, than be stuck in a house and live in fear all your life, man. How, that's not good life. I'd rather go out and be like, I can fight the disease, if there is something. I don't know if there's something. But
And
yes.
staying isolated also causes so much mental health illnesses. I don't want to be
Yeah,
isolated.
exactly. As I said, like, connection is everything. It's like, if you're sick and you have love in your life, you heal. It's like, you have serotonin that comes. It's like, we are spirits, and we are made of love. As soon as you connect with love, things fall into place. And what is love? It's just like you and me, you and other people, you and animals, you and nature, you and yourself. And I think we're here to also learn how to love more. So, like, this doesn't make sense, at all, talking about love so much. Always.
Yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
health, I want to talk a little bit about Wim Hof breathing, because I know you do that as well. Last year,
Yes.
when I think I was under a lot of stress or something. When I would go to sleep, I would wake up in the middle of my sleep and I would start hyperventilating. I would be like, I would go like this, and I didn't know what to do about it. But then, fortunately, a few days later, I found this thing called Wim Hof breathing on YouTube, and I started practicing it regularly. And after a while, I could breathe so much easily. My stress got reduced. So why did you start doing Wim Hof breathing?
Actually, that was also, when did I start? I started when I was traveling. One of my friends told me. So this was also a time when I was working a lot on myself. And but there's a friend of mine from Australia, Tony. He was the first one to introduce me, and such a beautiful guy. He's also, like, doing his spiritual war in Australia. I spoke with him. There's so many things that are going really haywire in Australia. They're really trying to bring in technocratic, country. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's a different thing. So he told me first, and then when I was in Vietnam, I was also, like, not feeling so good. There's also pollution over there, and I had this. This is the time when I started actually fasting as well. So I had this problem called abscess. Okay, so I got a pimple, so it was very painful. So I was like, whatever, it's like, it's called abscess. It's different. It's bigger than a pimple, like a foda in Hindi we say. And I was like, whatever, it's okay. And then one day I woke up and I had chest pain and everything. So I went to the doctors, and the doctors told me that you're really sick and whatever, like, lots of things they told me. They gave me antibiotics, and it didn't help. It helped at that time, and I'm not sure if that helped or I was already feeling better. So, and then I came back, and then again one more pimple came. And after that I was like, this, like, I'm taking antibiotics, it's not helping. So I realized that I need to start working on my health. So I started fasting, I started doing the Wim Hof breathing, and all these things I, got in place. And wow, yeah, man, it helps with the mood so much. It helps with, like, healing so much. It's amazing. I did it today also. I do it, man. So especially with the push-ups, it's just like, if you've not slept enough or something, it really, like, rejuvenates you. It gives you so much life force, which is coming from the raw food, from air, from sun. All life force is something that prana. And I think when we oxygenate, our body so much, it's like you have life force, and that's the healing power of the body. So yeah, that's been my journey. I've been doing it for a really long time now.
Tell me how dance therapy works, because I know that one of one of the most important thing about your morning routine is you just start dancing just like that.
Yes. 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 Actually, I'm making some videos on that also. Last 2-3 days, I made videos of dancing. I think how dance therapy works for me is, again, it puts me in a state of love. I can, through my movement, change my energy and put it into a loving energy. So it's like, the way I move my hands, the way I would move my body, it's like whole of my being without any thought processes, just the process of my body, gets into a loving, unconditional loving energy. You can say compassion as well. And I can flow in that state, and when I vibe out that energy, it's just like life is so easy. I think I also connect with my, higher self through that. Is you come in the present moment, and you can train yourself like to just be in the space that you are in. And there's so much energy that I can feel, and you can move energy around. So most of it is that the flow that you can get in the present moment. Most of the therapy comes through that. You can, like, you can release a lot of things. So there's something stuck, so there's energy stuck also. And then the energy is moving. So, and then you can bring in the energy that you want. Also, like, I use a lot of affirmations when I'm dancing as well. So, like, just appreciating yourself when you're dancing, and you can see how your 1 second, let me start it. So you can see how your movements would change depending on what thoughts you're giving. So if you're giving yourself very kind, comforting, and loving thoughts, your movement changes. It becomes more in the flow. So, and of course, as you're moving, you're also producing endorphins, and you're producing happiness hormones, because you just like get into action. So there is a therapy that's like, basically you're changing your actions instead of like trying to change your mind. And this is part of that. It's like, just do things that you really love. And when you do that, you're creating more space in your life to like for higher energies. And like there is less of the time that you give into things that are not useful for you. And I think it's like, it's like the more of you do something and focus on, it increases. So like there's so many things that are involved in it. But it was a very no one taught me ever what to do, and it was very, very, very spiritualistic, for me to just like go out and just express myself, and then just connect with something inside, and then just like keep be in the flow, and just knowing that this flow is healing me and is bringing in good things in my life. And yeah, it's just so beautiful, man. It's like really, really beautiful.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And for
Yes.
a person who decides to leave the city, who's just fed up of the city and they want to live off grid, they want to go into a rural community that's more natural. Do you think it's practical for them, and what kind of advice would you give them?
It's definitely practical. We can create anything that we want to in life. Advice would just be just work on your inner space, because everything is created from your inner space. We don't need much in life. What do you need? We need food. And if you have come till certain point in your life, it will never be that you will not be able to have food. Like, you can always get food, and then you need shelter. Like, I'm just talking about the worst case scenarios. What are people scared of? Shelter is also like, if you have friends, you are able to watch this YouTube video, I'm sure like there will never be a dearth of shelter for you, right? Water is also there. These are the three things that you need truly. So work on your inner self, work on your health, work on your mental space, and if you can take care of all these three things, I think you can just go and embark on the journey. I saved money, I invested in everything, but I don't think it's important. I have so many friends around me who have not done that, and still they are able to live a free life. There is nothing more beautiful than freedom in life. And as I said, like love. So we can have all the material comforts and everything, but if we don't have freedom and love in our life, like life doesn't is not worth living. So take the step, by starting to walk on your inner self, and beautiful things will follow, whatever we desire for. If we can create like a high space, okay, I will get the not will, but like as I use affirmations for myself, that I'm divinely guided and provided. Every step that I take is in like, my highest good. I'm always moving from highest good. Everything that I need comes to me in the perfect space, sequence and time. I'm living my highest life, all those things, that if you can fill up your mind, body and soul with like, uh, uh, all these things. And of course, like there has to be emptiness as well. Don't just like clutter up your mind with things. But you know what I mean? Do you get an idea? It's like, it's all the inner game that you have to master, and you'll get all prosperity, you'll get all abundance. You don't have to struggle, you don't have to think about food as well. Everything will come there. Like so much will come with not just food and like shelter and everything, but all the passions that you want to follow, everything that you want to give out to the world, and all the abundance that you want to live in, everything comes, if you can just create a good space inside. Yes.
Now you're in nature all by yourself. Do you ever get bored? How do you entertain yourself if you get bored?
So I'm not living by myself. I'm living with 3 people in my own property. Like there are 2 other people who live, and also locals. They come and work, and they are my friends. I never get bored. I don't know how time flows. I'm looking at actually, like creating more space and time for myself. And there's always something, we're creating a food forest also. So like there's so much input that has to go in there. Sometimes like I also work on the field, creating my YouTube videos. There's so much that I want to give out to the world. And there's so much just like being, every day is like, just everything flows. It's just like be in the space, and I never get bored, man. I never get bored.
You do all these
Yes.
you do all these different things, which for normal people it's very weird, but for you it's actually very useful. Like one thing
Yes.
that I really try to follow is barefoot walking. When did you
Yes.
start barefoot walking, and have you had any benefits of this?
Wow, man. Yeah, I started barefooting when I came back to India and started living in the community. And I started doing it because everyone was already doing it. So here, where we live in there's lots of wetness in the environment, and like it rains a lot. So if you whatever shoes you're wearing, like it's the most comfortable is to be barefoot. So if you're wearing flip flops or something, you'll just slip. It's like it's just you just can't put your step properly. And that's how I started. It was just an extension of like living in nature, and it's very, very beneficial. I would say it relaxes you so much. Like you feel connected with everything around you. You get so much information with your feet. Like my feet has developed calluses, so it's like another layer, and it's so strong. It's not hard at all. It's like normal. If you see, it's like soft and nice. There's no cracks, nothing. And it's just strong. So it's like now I don't get hurt or anything. You become so mindful of like your environment, just not even like putting in conscious effort, but just walking around. You're more aware of your surroundings. You have more information of the surrounding. You're connected with earth. And then there's this circadian rhythm which is there in the planet, which helps with your sleep cycle and everything, that you get in that vibration and energy. Then there's something called grounding, which is scientifically proven. So basically all our diseases, they happen because of free radicals in our body. So and from the earth we get negative electrons, and then these free radicals are neutralized. So these free radicals cause inflammation also in the body. And I think it's an awesome thing to take care of your health. It's not like one thing that you do and then you never fall sick, but it's just like how you get the sun, how you eat good food, how you exercise. I think barefooting is also something that adds a lot to the mental and physical health of whoever is doing it.
So
So much more I can talk about. No, but that's for the barefoot videos. Yes.
so Kartika, what are your future plans?
Future plans. Okay. First of all, to keep being my highest self and to have the most beautiful energy for every being and everything on the planet. I think that's the thing that I look at to, keep growing into beauty. Uh, Physically, of course, like food forest and like, just working on the space that we have. It's a very slow process when you're living off the grid. So just making sure that the space is growing as well, and I'm able to nourish mother earth, and able to nourish other beings as well through the food that I create, grow, and through the space that I create. So it's growing the space a lot, expanding in that. Then other things that I want to do, of course, is like the message of love that I have to, share with the world, because this is something that's changed my life. So I think the message that I got through Louise Hay, who changed my life completely just through her book, I can start crying. but
Can you
like I
can
want
you
to,
name that book for our benefit?
yes, it's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Yes. So yes, I'm a life coach, and I have some programs that are going to be starting. Also, with my friend, we are planning. So, like being able to spread that, how is it that you can change your inside and you can get more in like higher consciousness. That is happening to like also provide, like all of this is going to benefit like the community as well. For sure, I want to give back to the community because it's given me so much. And then yeah, of course, keep creating content that is bringing in like love in people's lives through all social media channels. I'm on LBRY as well, which is a decentralized channel, to also probably work towards the growth of cryptocurrency, because I think it's one of a very good medium to get the power back to the people, and for resources to flow. I'm sure you know about it. So to give like some energy there as well. Yeah, that's it. I think that's quite a bit. Yeah.
So you're a very spiritual person as well. You do a lot of things to heal yourself spiritually. And whenever I meet a person who's a little spiritual, I ask them a lot of weird questions like, uh, like, where do you think we'll go after we die?
um Actually, I've had multiple experience of going out of my body. So we are spirits, and then we have this body, and then we leave the body, and then we move on. So for example, you're on planet Earth. I don't know where you're going to go next. I'm not sure. But like basically it's an onward journey into something. I think we've come to planet Earth to evolve, to have some experiences, and to, as I said, to move more and more into unconditional love, to release some things that have like ancestors and we have created through our past lives. And um then like move on to something like some other reality. I don't know, something exciting. Like even this is very exciting, but yeah, some other reality, some other experience. But yeah,
And
it's like we never die. It's an ongoing process.
okay. And finally,
Yes.
what do you think is the purpose of life?
Experience. I think experience. We've come here to experience, and if there's more to it, to feel one with everything, to feel connected, to love. I think that's, if we have that, that's enough. As I said, freedom, just yes, abundance to experience great things.
I hope you get all of that. And I want to thank you, Kartika, for being on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pratham, for such a lovely interview, for getting me here. I'm very, very grateful. And I send you all my love and all the blessings, everything. And also, may all your dreams also come true. I also want to send like lots of love and positive energy to everyone who's listening. And keep shining, everyone.
Thank you.